Hey, I got a gaming channel. There's not a whole lot there. I post about as frequently as I post on this channel. I'm not asking you to subscribe because that's your decision and you have your own free will, but I'd appreciate it if you at least check it out. Baba Booey? So, are we being serious right now? A Last of Us remake? A whole things? Like, this can't seriously be what people want. I refuse to believe that. This game is like a generation and a half old. It came out at the end of the PS3 lifespan and then got an HD remaster bundle with some PS4s. Just play the remaster! As good as Naughty Dog can be, considering the first Last of Us and basically all of the Uncharted games, it feels like they've basically become a company that makes games to win awards. Does that make sense? Like, they've basically taken the route of trying to make a movie a video game, and while that's not a bad thing, it just rubs off the feeling of their big game being a natural Game of the Year contender just because. It doesn't matter how good of a video game others might be, and it doesn't matter that the other games could be more widely accepted as better games. When a game is presented like The Last of Us, or even the recent God of War game, the general public will latch onto it because, ooh, pretty real visuals and deep story. To the vocal minority, it feels like games just can't be games anymore. It feels like that crowd of people and the casuals either need a game that's trying to say something or be really deep. Or, you know, just throw a multiplayer game at them for a few months and that'll get them going. I could go on a tangent about The Last of Us 2 and Naughty Dog, but that's not really the point of this video. It's about remakes and how much it pisses me off that The Last of Us is getting one. Honestly, it's even more infuriating because I know it'll sell like fucking crazy because of that vocal minority. But to really explain why this pisses me off so much, I should probably talk about the biggest thing first. What's even the point of remakes? The way I see it, it's a way to bring back an old gem for old fans and to make it more accessible to people since older games can become pricey or straight up unavailable at times. You can look at the medieval remakes as a classic niche brought to modern gamers and relevance, while the Xenoblade Chronicles remakes was a way to make the game just available. With a remake, the general rules to make it have the most value would be updated visuals, obviously, and to update the gameplay and feel of a game if needed. Sometimes games can keep the exact same issues it had before or end up feeling worse than before. What's like the Shadow of the Colossus remake, assuming the internet didn't lie. You know, the internet never lies. There's one other thing though, and it ties in with nostalgia. Something has to be out for a certain amount of time to actually be considered nostalgic. That's why you tend to be nostalgic for things from childhood. You aren't gonna be fucking nostalgic about that Chinese food you had like a year ago. You're gonna be nostalgic about that half-assed BLT you got on the way to school that you inhaled. So far, every remake I've mentioned has been at least 10 years old. Medieval, 1998. Shadow of the Colossus, 2005, 2006. Xenoblade, 2010. Last of Us, 2013. The remaster was only a year after. Do we not see a disconnect here? In my Pikmin video, I mentioned a few other remakes, and all of them had their original game older than 10 years. The remake trilogy that started this entire remake craze existed before I was even conceived, my guy. By 2 years! If you want to add insult to injury, The House of the Dead is getting a remake, and that game is old as hell! Remakes have a purpose and a time. Some could seem like a bit of a bandwagon, but nobody really questions why they're getting remakes. Last of Us getting a remake is Naughty Dog and Sony buying partial ownership in the bandwagon industry and riding high with the disfigured success of The Last of Us 2, as if it wasn't enough that they were making an entire show out of it. Yeah, I'm annoyed, but that's really all I can say about it. So, what's left? Well, I'm gonna be a little more pissy and list 10 games in no particular order that are better off getting remakes over Last of Us, because I am that petty right now. Banjo-Kazooie. This is obvious, people. The last new game was damned to hell almost immediately and wasn't what anybody wanted in a new title. Just remake the first game! People still play it to this day, and I'm pretty sure it's still considered one of the best platformers of its generation. Some even consider it better than Mario 64. which I kind of agree with. Mario 64 doesn't hold up at all. Fight me on this, I do not care. Let's be real, even if Microsoft went the Crash and Spyro route and remake both the games to put on one package, it would still probably profit thanks to Smash! Despite how probably not great Banjo actually is in Smash, he was probably the hypest character drop in the first season pass. You could say Joker, I say Arsene, and Shudder in PTSD. Smash made Banjo relevant again, so a remake bundle would sell like hell, and then maybe, just maybe, lifelong fans could get the sequel they all imagined. Conker's bad for a day. I say do a Conker remake after a Banjo remake. People may not rush to pre-order this one. Could be a bit niche at this point for all I know. I know for sure though, if Microsoft commits to a Banjo plan, they could probably afford to commit to this. Also, like, they were definitely trying to reach an audience they just didn't have when they made Lucky's Tale and the Ori games. And not to say that Ori's bad, because it's definitely not. Expand that audience with the teenagers and adults, because Conker isn't a fucking kids game, even though kids were probably the ones who play it the most. Anyway, Croc. I feel like the only people that remember Croc are the people that make YouTube videos about him and the people that watch those videos. I'm the latter. Croc would benefit from the side of bringing it back to relevance and updating the controls, because I'm pretty sure trying to play that game now would make your face naturally scrunch up like this, and nobody wants to look like this. Klonoa. I love Klonoa. And I've never played any of the games. I want to be able to play one of these games and not have to own a fucking PS1 or a Wii. God knows how much those copies are going for. Not enough respect gets put on Klonoa. I feel like people don't even really know who or what Klonoa is, and I feel that's a real bummer. So just let people have a chance. We'll never get him for Smash, so at least give me this. Captain Commando. This game is like kinda deep cut Capcom, I think. I don't think there's been a Captain Commando game since before the fucking 2000s. And considering that side-scrolling beat-em-ups are still doing just fine with the return of Scott Pilgrim, God bless the gaming gods. And I'm pretty sure Streets of Rage 4 did well too. I think it'll work out. Contra. Look, okay. Look, out of all these games, this is the one stretch. I don't really care for it, but there have been plenty of side-scrolling games to come out these last few years that people love. I'm pretty sure as long as the game is just as difficult, but fair, it'll be fine. Probably. Parappa the Rapper. It got an HD release however many years ago, and that was neat. But I think a straight-up remake with new models and songs would be really cool. They could update the visuals to not be like broken, you know? Maybe not as dull looking as All-Stars made them look, but you know, you guys are smart. You know what I mean. HD Twisted Metal. So every time people I know think of Sweet Tooth, a lot of the time he's just the clown from that PS2 game. Let the man be fully recognized. I'll be honest, I never played it because I didn't really know it existed until I didn't own a PS2 anymore. Is Twisted Metal considered niche at this point? I have no fucking idea. Is it a chaotic fucking mess? Probably. And chaos is what we need in video games. Woo! The Legend of Dragoon. This game is like a fucking enigma, man. It's gonna be expensive to buy online, probably. There's so many people online that just keep begging for this game to come back. So just give the people what they want and shut them up. I genuinely know not a one single thing about this game. So if it does get a remake, I could be thoroughly educated along with plenty of other younger people that don't know shit about this game. Xenogears. The Xenoblade series has taken the fuck off. Chronicles 1 and 2 are praised to no end. And considering the first one got the remaster update and made the game look like it was injected with everything that gives life to a person, might as well hit the rewind button and give Xenogears the same treatment. Other than the fact that this game kicked off the whole Xeno franchise, as far as I know nothing of the game, but I'm pretty sure there could be plenty of quality of life updates to the game that could make it even better than it was before. Just like that, 10 games that deserve a remake more than The Last of Us by a fucking landslide. Do I believe any of these games have potential to get it? That all depends on the developers themselves. So no, not really. To me, it's a waste of time and effort to remake The Last of Us, but the money says otherwise. But hey, at least the series is done with and the game is just gonna have its finality, right? Oh, did you not hear? What? What do you mean? Hear what? Oh, hold on. I'll send it to you. Okay, just make it quick, alright? Yeah. I just sent you a link, go look at it. Okay, alright. 5 games that deserve a sequel, right now, let's go! Sly Cooper! This is another series that would be perfect for a Crash and Spyro treatment, and just getting the original trilogy remade with updated animations and controls. More than anything though, Sly 4 left us on a huge cliffhanger. Our raccoon boy was straight up stranded in ancient Egypt. Like, what? Apparently the game didn't sell how they wanted to, so they just didn't move forward with it. And that was probably the reason the animated movie or series didn't end up getting made, but let's be real, that was probably for the best. But just give the game to a different studio and let them handle it. The Force Unleashed. These games were super fun and something really unique to the Star Wars franchise. Too bad it was deemed not canon when Disney put its gross cold hands on the property. The last game ended with... how the fuck do you pronounce that name? The last game ended with the apprentice flying away with Juno and unknowingly being followed, who turns out being Sir Mr. Boba Fett. The second game could have been a great send-off, but the fact that they teased something like that made me, and probably a lot of others, really excited for what could have happened. The probability of this game ever getting a sequel is probably non-existent at this point, considering the state of Star Wars games now, and just the property as a whole, but it really deserves it. Hell, why not remaster these games? What the fuck? BioShock. I'll be honest, I don't have much of a reason to have this series here. I just think that the BioShock series is always primed for interesting environments and artistic style. From what I understand, people didn't like Infinite all that much, even though I think the concept and execution of a Sky City was done pretty well. If this new title should be connected to the other games, I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Go for it, just make the setting interesting. Bushido Blade. So Samurai Showdown got revitalized a few years back and it was received pretty well. It got a decent amount of DLC, and on a visual standpoint, it was pretty damn unique. I don't know how many people my age and younger know what Bushido Blade is, but just like how Sam Show is a pretty unique fighting game, this one is even more so. I doubt this would be a game that would be in a major tournament or anything, but it would be a really funny time with your friends. Add some new characters, maybe throw in a new mechanic, I don't know. With a fighting game that takes away the use of your fucking limbs, have fun with it. There are plenty of fighting games that deserve a comeback or would just be hilarious to see in modern day graphics. Power Stone is a game that comes to mind right away, but like, fucking look at this game, come on! Golden Axe, an old ass Sega property that's a side-scrolling hack and slash. Do it! We got a new Streets of Rage, we just recently got a new Ghouls and Goblins, so why not make a new Golden Axe? It can be a cheaper title to develop, and it doesn't have to be a fully priced game. This doesn't have to be a game that Sega has to take a major loss on, so why not? It would be a perfect title for the Switch, just make the small game! I was writing this before the whole Last of Us 3 scenario thing came out, and you know, nobody should be surprised by any of this, including me. Naughty Dog always makes at least 3 games in a series anyway, so it would have been inevitable no matter what. This whole thing bothers me so much because the first game feels like it was practically perfect in terms of story. It was bittersweet, but it was fucking real. It was believable. The second game, yeah, it had moments of believability, but it felt more like people trying to tell a dramatic story instead of a real one. Now, instead of The Last of Us being a perfect 10 out of 10 to some people and an instant classic, it's become a problematic series with a divided fan base that'll probably only get worse if Naughty Dog makes similar decisions. So, I don't have a good way to end this video, so, here's this weird thing I found. Is this doing anything for you? Okay, bye!